To a very late night Friday live. Normally I have a cup of coffee, but this time I'm going at it. I just got out of a dance class. It's been a very interesting day. I had to actually kind of want to show y'all my outfit because I picked it right. Can you see it? Let's see. What you're looking at is my attempt to dress for dumpster diving, a funeral, and dance class for today. And that's not even all I did, but that's just what I had going on right before I got on here. So it's been a wild day. Let's see. We got a question. Kaylin Fullington, have you studied a course on miracles? I have not. I know about them. I know of them. I've witnessed them. I've experienced them. Many of them. And a lot of things are hard to understand when you start breaking away from the natural cage and the natural light that we're all bound in, and you start to understand that things happen on a spiritual level. You can start to try to see the forest through the trees, where everything happens for a reason by divine design, and it's hard to basically, on a very in the weeds level, we are fractals of the Creator that can craft and design our own reality. But on, depending on how far you are through that journey, it's harder to see and understand why things happen. Like your tire could pop, and guess what? You're all frustrated, you want to cuss and all that, but you could have gotten a car accident just down the road, or simple things like that, where I always try to do my best to come from a place of peace and love, to try to understand that there's things that you're not supposed to lean on your own understanding, okay? Because things are the way they are for a reason, and I always go in that guidance and light, and it works out. And then there's things that happen today that might not manifest for 10 years. Like, for instance, I've been studying this stuff that I'm giving to y'all for 13 years now, and I'm just now releasing it all. I had no clue when I started this journey, sitting inside of a jail cell studying the Bible, that I would be releasing all this stuff out to everybody and being able to help assist thousands and thousands of people out there. I knew that I was going to come on the airways and help people. I was told that, but I had no idea that this was what I was going to be doing and how I was going to be doing it. Thank you for the rose. Your gifts will be used to help others. Much appreciated. All right, so yeah, I haven't studied a course on miracles. Is there a course on miracles, Kaylin? I've never heard of that, but all right. So we've got Vindy Indy. Is there a difference? Is there a difference between non-citizen national or state American state national? So if you look up the codes, it will say that there is a national which owes allegiance to a state. That is where state national comes from. There is no state national, but we all, quote unquote, say state national because you're pledging basically alliance and allegiance to a sovereign republic state. That corporation owes allegiance to a Republican form of government, not the U.S. federal fictional basically jurisdiction. The non-citizen national is typically your outlying U.S. territory type of districts. You got Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, stuff like that, where it's still a corporation that's tied to the U.S. But there are differences, and there's codes that you can just kind of Google and look up and all that, and it'll explain it way better than I can off the hip. But some of that stuff is clouded because a person, they're all persons, which is a corporate fiction, so it doesn't really matter. Oh, thank you for the heart. Much appreciated, Megan. A person is a person because legal entities and fictions is all that they can deal with in the public realm. And since 1933, that's what The Wizard of Oz was all about. When the hurricane switched up everything and turned it black and white, we're all operating under a corporate type of jurisdiction with our entities, and that's all they can interface with. And a national is a person, and a state national is a person, a U.S. citizen is a person, trust, all that stuff are all different types of people. Vindy, thank you for the lightning bolts. Megan, thank you again for the rose. Thank you all for the gifts. Much appreciated. So there are differences. Whoa, Rev, thank you. Much appreciated. Thank you. I see all your likes and comments. Also, I know you've been following me for a while. Gregory, thanks for the 5 W's. What is that? Send a W. I don't know what that is. W for the win. Wow, this thing just jumped. So let me go up some. All right. Good day. Hey, Jerry. How you doing? Claylan, in. Did you say in? Have you studied Course in Miracles? Why did you just say in anyway? All right, so Vinny, my question is regarding the correct process for DS11 and obtaining passport application. So if you go on my website under ID, you will see all kinds of different things, including definitions and courses. Not courses, but a lot of information on status and standing. There is a course on how to get a passport that is on my website that I downloaded. I didn't follow that. I just put a notation on my passport that said the holder of this passport is not a U.S. citizen but a national, and I circled national on the front page of it. Now I know now my passport is somewhat old school and it's set to expire in 2026, and the new ones are going to have that RFID chip thing in it where they can track you almost everywhere no matter where you're going, and that's something that you just got to kind of. This thing keeps saying my camera is obstructed. Adjust your layout to ensure. It's thinking. I feel like y'all could see me fine. Like from the beginning, I tried to hit my live, and it's like your camera's obstructed, and I'm like, I kind of look fresh on this thing. I don't know what you're talking about. Holmes. All right. Kaylin, do you think the U.S. will ever be kicked out of NATO and be tried for war crimes? Well, the U.S. is a bankrupt corporation, basically established as the executive arm of the elites on the triangle for the judicial, executive, and legislative branches. So the U.S. is the executive branch that basically has the armed force, even though China has a massive amount more of knowledge and technology and military. Okay, not a lot of people know that. The kids, you look at the difference in our schooling system. We're basically here in the U.S. They basically want you dumbed down. They want you unhealthy. They want you uneducated. They over in other countries, they're over there cooking. Like I'm 41 and I have to learn how to cook. Because I've done split up with someone who's cooked for me for the last 7 years. And before that, I was getting freaking trays through a chuck hole in a jail cell. And then before that, I was just eating crap from 7-Eleven. So I've never really learned how to cook, and here I'm 41. I watch these kids in other countries who learn all the basics in freaking 4th grade, 3rd grade, kindergarten, stuff like that. They're doing freaking algebra, and that's one of the most important things to grasp the foundation of is how our children are educated. And if you watch my video on public schooling, it'll blow your mind. It'll give you some links to some stuff that's like this really fishy, how they set everything up to dumb us down and keep us from being educated very properly. Let's see. Thanks for the following. Thanks for the shares. Thanks for the chili. Thanks for all the gifts. Guys, this live, if you wanted to catch a recap, it'll be on YouTube, the video. The audio will be in my Telegram group. I have exclusive content on all my social medias. My social medias are linked on my website. My website is linked on my profile page of TikTok. I've also created playlists for Foundation Nature, Spirit, and Commerce to help re-educate all kinds of people because we are basically taught wrong for a reason. And they do that in all different types of societies. It's not just ours. It's different sects. It's sects, not sex. Sects like C-E-S-E-C-T. Different groups and religions and stuff. It's kind of the same way. The people in the lower bottom are taught one thing, and then the people at the top that are controlling and pulling the strings don't really reveal any light to anybody until they make it through different stages and prove themselves being worthy. And this, there's a beautiful little cartoon my daughter was watching that basically lays it all out. It explains how all of the laws are written on stone for all of the sheeple, and basically this guy made it through. It was about Bigfoot. It was a cartoon about Bigfoot. And Bigfoots were trying to act like humans. There was conspiracies that humans existed, or they've been spotted, or something like that. It was like in reverse how we do with Bigfoot. And the Bigfoot finally meets a human, and he comes to a realization that the people that have been teaching all the laws are saying that all the laws that bind all of the citizens are basically there just to keep them in place. But here's the truth, and the truth is there are you're basically saying like you're sovereign and above all these things and all this other stuff. But all right, let me get back to some questions. Tooth hurts. Wow. Oh, truth hurts. Sorry, tooth hurts. I read your name wrong. That's why enunciation is important. How do you feel about diplomatic immunity, surrendering your BC to the UN? So surrendering your BC is going to do absolutely nothing because it's just a corporation. It's a tool that you can use. There's benefits and privileges and ups and downs and pros and cons to any relationship that you want to engage in. It's up to you if you want to take on that limited liability shield as a buffer to do business with out there in the public. You can create your own type of entity if you want to try to engage outside of those realms or with different types of strings attached or whatever. Because as sovereigns, we have the ultimate ability to contract any way we want. We are the we are the authorized representative of the U.S. citizen, and you can dock it. You don't have to use it at all. It's up to you. It's basically, it's the state's creation, but it is something that you can use as the basically surety underwriter, authorized representative of that corporation. But lots of strings attached, including 4 liens. You got a medical lien, a Social Security lien, you got a state lien, and a federal lien on that entity, if that's what you want to use. It does have benefits and privileges. You're able to contract with it a lot more easier than you can if you create your own trust and stuff like that. It's up to you. There's pros and cons to everything. All right, so I'm good. Me good? I'm good. Thank you. Do I think? Yeah. So when it comes to being kicked out of NATO, I don't know if it'll ever be kicked out of NATO, Kaylin. I think the U.S. is going to be dissolved sometime soon, maybe, and I'm surprised they're still letting me talk. Usually they want to ban me for stuff like that. I'm not sure what they're going to do with this bankrupt entity, the executive arm or executive arm for the elites. They might end up trying to find another corporation to take on that type of roles and responsibility. I don't know if the republic will rise up or not. All the sovereign states, who knows? They could. They have that ability. But since they're not trading in gold and silver, you can tell that they are not active. They're dormant in the background. But I have heard of states that are starting to try to issue money that is backed by gold, which that's basically lawful constitutional currency that they'll be bartering and trading and exchanging in. All right, Miss Dunn, I'm good. All right, thank you for the following. So how do I feel about diplomatic immunity? So diplomatic immunity is, I made a video on that, and it's called the Do Not Detain list, if you want to watch that. It basically says that it doesn't matter what or who or where you come from. The police's first duty and obligation is sworn to the public, and if you're out there harming the public, they're going to detain you. They're going to arrest you. Now, it depends on what kind of list you're on. If you're on diplomatic immunity and you do something that's bad enough, they will detain you and then deport you, irregardless. They will charge you, and the most, when I did my research, the most common get out of jail free card that any diplomatic immunity offers is just they don't pay their traffic tickets, and that's it. And the only reason they don't pay their traffic tickets is because they know that type of infraction is not serious enough to where the police and the state is going to report them to their home country and try to get them deported, but they could. So they're over here trying to do high important things, and the purpose of diplomatic immunity is not because they're above the law. The purpose of diplomatic immunity is so that the host country that they are in and representing another country, they don't want the host country to try to make up frivolous and bogus charges against them to get them deported, to get them out of there. So that's the main reason. But if they actually do something, that's not why they have diplomatic immunity. They have diplomatic immunity in case there's frivolous and bogus charges being brought against them, because it would be real easy for a hosting country to just try to kick out all the diplomats by making up bogus charges against them all. So that's kind of the main thing. Vindy, I got a good cookbook for you, brother. All right, yeah, I'd appreciate it. You can send it to me. You can send it through my DM or my Telegram group if you want, Vindy. That's like an easier way to transfer stuff instead of here on TikTok. Guys, you can feel free to ask any and all questions here. That's what this time is set aside for. Or you can DM me, or you can email me, or you can call me, or you can. There's so many different ways to reach out to me. Should you not want to ask anything here on this semi-public type of venue. Anyway, thanks for the following. Thanks for the likes, shares. Where are we at? See a whole lot of people on here. Yo, Awareness, what's up? Sorry, I just made it down to you. Thanks for coming on. I think my mic should be a little louder. It's like all up in my grill now. I jacked it up using 2 stands, because the one it came with is just like a little baby one, and then I put it on my camera holder. So I got two stands stacked on top of each other. Oh, and I talked too much, and now look, I cursed it. It started falling. Like, it's been chilling. I knew I was gonna tell y'all too that might happen. This thing might just it's teetering. All right, here we go. Where are we at? Question? Any question? There's so many people. Goodness gracious. The word is regardless. What does that mean? I can do anything. The word is regardless. I'm sorry if I'm behind, because I have no clue what that is in relation to. All right. There is somebody on here that has a handle with like 45 X's in their name. That is like super dirty. All right, where are we at? Join from. Thanks. I don't know what a short video. Do I have short videos on TikTok? Because I get things on here that say joined from short videos. So anyway, yeah, I had an interesting day. Had to dress for dumpster diving, a funeral, and dancing, all in one outfit before I left this sucker. So I was like, dang, man. I was like, should I just shoes for dancing? Should I do, top for funeral? Should I do midsection? I just, first thing I did, and I say dumpster diving, but I had a tenant kind of play me a little bit. She got a little bit of her security deposit back, and she was supposed to get a U-Haul truck and move out a bunch of stuff out of her garage, and didn't. And she left it all, and now it's I had to go through all of it and see if there's anything worth even keeping, or just try to get rid of anything. Well, she had a stripper pole, she had some buckets, a beer bong, a whole bunch of party supplies, some little bikes and stuff like that. But so I had to do that first, and then I had a great uncle that passed away, and then after that I ended up I'm trying to learn bachata. I learned a lot actually about its history and culture. It's pretty cool to, I can do anything. I'm on the flat earth regardless side. Well, that's very cool. That's one of those things where I have studied the Earth's shape for hundreds of, I don't even know about thousands of hours, but I've studied it probably more than your average citizen, 99% of the people. And I can tell you, it appears, to the best of my knowledge, not to be a spinning ball aimlessly, accidentally created that's just flying through space. And I even put out a video challenging, not challenging, it was a contest to pay anybody $5,000 that can basically explain why the brightest star in the sky stays put and has for hundreds of years. If we're on a spinning ball that has a precession, a elliptical change, and it's on an axis and spinning like the way it is, and explain all that and map it out on a thing. But I can do anything. LOL, I missed a comment, brother. I was on you for saying irregardless. Oh, I got you. Yeah, I did miss something because there was like 50 people that hopped on out of nowhere. I'm already at like 3.4 thousand likes. Man, y'all, it might seem like I need to start coming on here later because this thing is jumping off compared to when I come on here at 5 o'clock. Like, I don't know, like, I reach people from all over the earth. So when I put out a video, it'll show me the demographics of all of the people that basically view my stuff. And I mean, I'm in Jamaica, I'm in India, I'm in Canada, I'm in Mexico, I'm in Japan. Like, it's all over the place. So, that's kind of why I like this platform. Even though I do get throttled and suppressed and shadow banned on a lot of things, there is a great ability to reach massive amounts of people very quickly. Like, I've already got 5 new followers on here, and guys, I don't ask for anything in return. I give of my own free volition and will and all the knowledge and stuff that I have. I don't charge nothing. For my website is free. All of my content, all of my consultations, all that stuff is free. And that's basically what I do with my part-time, because it's just something I love and enjoy doing as a charity to myself, because when you get on a higher level on a spiritual plane, y'all are basically all reflections of me, because we're all one in this. And if you don't believe me, ain't none of us going to make it out alive. So, we're all tied to these 3 different lights all together: the natural light, the spiritual light, and the commercial light. We are basically all one love, baby. And that's what's so beautiful when you come from equity and peace, is you just start learning that you don't have to understand or know the 20 billion codes, laws, and statutes. You, first of all, as a sovereign that can create your own contracts and you can create your own law, you don't need all that. And I actually showed my girl today the first video that I made for the girl Bree Divine, because I was sitting here and I have all this knowledge and all this ability, just haven't released it. And I'm on here looking on TikTok, and I'm like, yeah, she's cute. Okay, so that means she's going to get an extra 700,000 likes. Okay, I understand that. I was like, but she's giving misinformation. Okay, so I'm sitting there and I'm like, she's getting ready to send people out to travel without a license, without having the knowledge or foundation of understanding of what it takes to just travel without a license. And she's got like, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I even told her, I was like, I was slightly jealous that she's over here getting 800,000 views and I'm getting 150. But my main purpose of duetting her or stitching her was because she was sending people out to get harmed without having a foundational knowledge of understanding of self-governing, because it takes something to be able to do that. And she watched that video and she was like, that's like a lot of hassle. She's like, I'd rather just get a license. Well, I didn't talk to her about it, but the truth is, there's strings attached and pros and cons to everything. If you want to register your property and let the state control it, then that's their baby and that's them, and they get to dictate anything and everything that you have to do with their property, right? They do allow you to sell it, they do allow you to do different things, but they're going to tax you, and they're going to tell you what you have to do, and if you don't pay taxes, they're going to take it from you. But self-governing, it does take a little bit of time, effort, and studies to be able to, come from a different place than we've all been indoctrinated in the public fool system. Shane Mining, your content is amazing. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you for coming on here and being enlightened with the rest of everybody. Y'all are taking some steps just even listening to some of the stuff that I've studied over the last 13 years, because it is very esoteric and it's against the mainstream narrative. And that is kind of why I'm shadow banned in one sense. And it's so weird. Like, me and TikTok got this crazy relationship. Sometimes they'll let one of my videos go out to 20,000 people. It's strange. And then they'll pick something random and they'll just ban it from For You feed. And when they ban any of my videos for the For You feed, that's 80% of my traffic is the For You feed type of shows. And out of the For You feed, I will get 10% of likes of the traffic that goes out. So I had my DTC 3 video. My DTC 2 didn't do as good as I thought it would, because I had a tinfoil hat on and some grill in, and I thought that jam was gonna be funny. But my third one, it went 17 hours before they banned it. And by banning, they block it from anybody's For You feed. And then once they took the appeal, it took 10 days. It went out to like 1,700 people in 17 hours, and then they banned it for For You feed, and then they accepted my appeal 10 days later, and it got up to like 8,000 views. I can only imagine what it would have been like if they wouldn't have banned it for 10 days, because normally it'll go up fast for 2 days and then slowly ramp down. So I'm just like, man, I wonder how many likes did I lose on that one? 20? I mean, views, 20,000 or so. All right, thank you for the following. Gregory Global Jaman, grateful for all your time and information. Yes, that's what I'm here for. Like, use me. Use me. This is for y'all. This time is set aside in equity to help everybody on a case-by-case basis the best that I can. So you can ask any and all questions. Now, I've had to ban a couple people for saying crazy stuff because I think they were on drugs, but that's only like 2 people I've had to ban in 2 years. So I'm only like banning, one person a year at this point. So typically you could say, and then sometimes I'll take too long to answer somebody's question, and then in the chat room people will just start chatting with each other, because it's like, hey, how you doing? Ain't seen you in a while. Karaoke, your information has been so helpful to me, first person who has connected spiritually with this process. Yes, and what's funny is I revealed it in the way that it was revealed to me, because we all know about nature, right? You can't deny that. The natural realm is there, it is. And that's basically like the first person point of view, where you are the player, you are the one in the game, right? And then when you get to the second level, you are the one controlling the player, okay? That's the spiritual level. And then when you understand the commercial, which is anything and everything all in between, that's when you can get to the third level, which is basically you are the creator of the game, And I love that video that kind of lays it out, but I just tied it to the nature, spirit, and commerce, because that's how it was revealed to me. As babies walk and learn in the natural, you can only feed them milk. The same thing happens when you get born spiritually, is you're basically a brand new creature trying to understand things. And that's why I try to give out simple information, such as, if you can see your hands and feet while you're dreaming, that's your spiritual body. That's the real body. That's the body that makes this temporary flesh frame move. And on my last video, I actually had somebody I hate to do it, but I got to make a video on this, okay? So I give a lot of information, and they all pinpointed on the one thing where I said, if you check the wrong box, you're going to be visited by people with guns. Now, granted, I did show a GIF, or GIF, or however you want to say it, of FBI running with their guns out pointing at you. Now, that was something I decided to use because it did look somewhat intimidating, and the reason for that is because I'm putting out information not so that everybody runs to the DTC, but so that you can understand how everything works. And of course, if you check the wrong box, they're not going to come running at you like with militant-style flak jackets on with knives and guns and stuff pointed at your face. No, they're going to be very professionally well-dressed people with guns on their hips that are going to come knock on your door. And when you don't understand what the questions that they're asking, like is this your signature? What are you attempting to do? What is your ultimate goal? All this stuff, then the investigation that they've opened up on you is going to be closing down on you real quick, because when you're engaging in money, people's money, other people's games on that level, I'm talking this level, DTC, you got to come in with $250,000 just to get them to look at you. That's the kind of level that this is on. This is international, big scale, behind the scenes. This is when you reach the back of the Wizard of Oz and you pull the curtain open, and there's the man just pulling the levers, right? And it's like, oh yeah, here's your heart. Here's you had it the whole time. Gregory, thank you for the W. Much appreciated. It's got to be something. Is it just a W? It's like a W coin. I appreciate that. Your gifts will be used to help others by promoting content to help enlighten everybody out there. So, guys, feel free to ask any and all questions. Again, to recap, if you want to check this video out, the video will be on YouTube. The audio will be in my Telegram group. I usually have exclusive content on everything. I try to tell my Telegram group before I go live, because unless you're subscribed to me, you're not going to know. And I don't have any subscribers. You can. But if you're subscribed, you can know when I go live, or join my Telegram group. It's free, and I let everybody know too. Most of the time, 80%, 90% of the time, I tell on there. And on my website, it's free. You can browse around any of the paths that you want to take, Nature, Spirit, or Commerce, or there's a help tab too if you want to reach out to me personally. And I've created playlists to help re-educate everybody from the indoctrination that we've all received on my TikTok profile. My website's on my TikTok profile. It's anointednewfoundationofpeace.life, and you can browse around there. Again, it's all the stuff that I studied for 10 years. There is some slight misinformation, some of it from the teachers that I was taught from, but I don't have time to go through the hundreds of audio files and clip out the little bits and pieces that were somewhat misinformation. I've got thousands of videos that I've downloaded from TikTok that I need to upload onto my website as well. So it's just a lot of works I got going on. But karaoke. But so many people are just telling people they can do anything, and they're getting in trouble. Yes, yeah, I know. They're trying to tell you, sign up for this course, pay me $1,000, I'll do all the paperwork, and then you'll have sovereign diplomatic immunity, you'll be on the do not detain list, and you're above the government. And it's like, thank you, pay me. No, that's not how it works in any way, fashion, shape, or form. I have done the same thing. I paid for a secured party creditor course, which was garbage, and I have it for free. If any of y'all are even thinking about a secured party creditor process, which is garbage, I have one for free on my website that you can take that I paid $1,000 for, and it's basically fruitless. However, I say fruitless, I did learn a lot from it. I basically learned that secured party creditor is also not the way to go, but I learned about postal regulations and how to create documents and stuff like that, and how to edit documents, which is very important. But all right, so AJ Adams. So what are you supposed to check on DTX? What do you mean on the DTC form? Is that what you're talking about? It depends on what kind of bond or what kind of security that you're trying to offer up. What kind of issue that you're trying to offer up for them to create a bond from. What kind of security? What are you supposed to check on the DC? I see that. Yeah. It basically depends on what you want to do. If you're trying to do the Social Security bond number, then what type of entity is the U.S. citizen? That's the question that I would ask you. It's classified by the IRS as an individual trust, as a person, but it is a one-man what? It is a corporation. So that would be my best lawful guidance to tell y'all on that stuff. And I might do one more DTC. I don't like giving out too much information broad like that. But there is more information on my website should you want to put in the effort and work yourself. And I'll tell you, I have people reach out to me all the time and they want me to hold their hand, and I don't. It's not that I don't have the time, and it's not that I can't do the paperwork and I can't do everything for you. But if you ever challenge or confronted, for instance, if you put the wrong checkbox on the DTC form and you get visited by people with guns on their hips and they're trying to figure out what's going on, why are you messing around on international, federal levels? On you Sally over there is the bartender at IHOP or whatever. Why are you messing in international money games, right? What's going on? And if you don't know how to basically back your stance up in your position, like I can enforce a private administrative procedure on a bar napkin in a court case, but can you? That's why it doesn't matter what you write or say, because when you hand something to the judge, he's going to be watching you. He's going to be seeing if you got, Barry the jailhouse lawyer to write your documentation up, or if you actually know that you are the sovereign and you can take control of that court. Do you understand that he's sworn an oath to the public, and the public is bankrupt, uneducated, and crazy, and can't handle assets? Do you know that? Do you understand that type of technology? He's going to be testing you. And that's how we're all tested, right, all the time. And that is what this game is all about, which I explained about the 3 levels, the 3 lights, the 3 foundations that we're all being thrown around on all the time that we have no clue about. We're being tested. AJ, can you talk about the different securities? I've basically laid them all out, depending on if you're just talking about for the DTC. There's 5 different check boxes on there, or if you're talking about different securities out there in the public and private banking world, then you'd have to Google that. But I made a video on, I've made 4 videos on the DTC that'll lay basically a lot of it out, and a video on discharging debt that you got to tie into it as well. I can do anything. Are you familiar with creating a bond in lieu of auto insurance? So for auto insurance, I have had bad experience watching people go to jail that try to create bonds. Okay, I know that what is kind of weird is that you can buy gold, which is lawful money of substance, and Federal Reserve notes or military war script money of account, right? So you can buy actual money of substance with money of account, and then money of substance can actually squash any and all money of account. So it's just kind of weird when you do it in reverse. You can back a trust up by gold, and you can set the vehicle inside of the trust, and then you can find insurance companies that will insure a trust, because when the rubber meets the road, the U.S. citizen is an individual trust anyway, right? So you can find, and I've done it. You can find a insurance company that will basically insure a trust, and you use an EIN. But when you go through the DOT and basically tell them what you're trying to do in order to put your trust or your whatever you're trying to put the vehicle into a security agreement or protecting it, because I always suggest putting things in trust. Everything is in trust in anyway. Whenever you put something in trust, like a vehicle, and then you want to try to operate it out there, you want to make sure the trust indentures allow for all that kind of stuff, and then you also want to, you don't have to, but it is suggested, and I have a witness. I called the Department of Transportation, DOT, and I told them what I was trying to do. I was like, I am trying to basically get a whole number for my vehicle so that the police know that I'm not a belligerent engaged in combat, because during times of war, they have the right to inspect. And if they see that DOT number, you're already on a repository that basically says you're a safe to travel person. And they literally said, okay, you're going to want to also put not for hire on your vehicle, because I said I want them to know that I'm not engaged in commerce. And this girl told me, she literally said from the DOT, said you want to put not for hire on your vehicle, and you also have to have like a $250,000 bond for insurance that I think you have to go through either a broker or a company that can provide that, because everybody I have seen make bonds ends up going to jail. And I'm not saying that you can't make bonds. All I'm saying is over the 10, 13 years I've studied, I have watched 13 people and I'm talking gurus, go to jail. People that teach stuff like I'm teaching. So whenever I see somebody talking about making bonds, I back up. Even when I'm talking about the DTC makes a bond. You don't make the bond. You can make a bond eligible, or you can make a security eligible for them to create a bond, but you ain't making the bond because the U.S. citizen isn't authorized to engage in certain types of things. Everything, when you start dealing on the federal level, the banks are the ones that are the agents that can convert from public to private, and the ones that you want to mess with and deal with. So anyway, I appreciate everybody's questions. What's the easiest way to fund a revocable living trust? The easiest way is to use Federal Reserve notes, but then you're giving up subject matter jurisdiction. The best way is to basically try to earn from barter, trade, or exchange some type of lawful, something of substance. It could be platinum, silver, gold, cotton, can be whatever. Silver is the Republican form of government, silver and gold coins, right, if you want to come from the Republic. And it basically depends on what kind of subject matter jurisdiction you want to submit the trust to, right? So if you want to hail the Republic, or you want to hail your own parcel, or you want to hail the corporate federal, it's up to you. Or you can encompass all three by using a international stamp. The Red Fox stamp is very unique in the fact that it does not have a box around it. It has a dollar bill with the two bars on it, and when you sign through it, it's a cancellation. It's international debt obligation, but it depends on what you want to use as the race, because an express trust, now remember, there's all kinds of trusts, and contracts basically emanate and start verbally, okay? They writing is indelible, and spoken is viva voce, okay? Most contracts start viva voce, and the contract that you hold is the memorialization of what transpired. So whenever you're trying to engage in contracts, it's good to know all these things. Dang, I just hit my mic. But when it comes to an express trust, there's 5 indicia. The 5 parties have to be identified, which is the 3 parties, the grantor, the beneficiary, and the trustee. It has to have property and a purpose. So whatever property you want to put on it, just make sure, one, either you have true controlling title of it, or if somebody else has true controlling title to it, then there's underlying strings attached. But whatever you use as the race or the res, everybody says different things. It's RES. Then that's the property, and then you have to have a purpose. So, and then from there you can have a trust document that is 1 sentence long, or you can have 17,000 pages. It's up to you. All right, let's answer some of these questions. I can do. Thanks. You're welcome. Weston, all right, yeah, I answered that question. D, love your content, brother. Thank you. You're very welcome, D. D, what's your 2 most recommended documents to use to establish status and jurisdictional in a tribunal? So I have examples of status and standing on my website that you can look at. They're quote unquote not, I say templates, but it's just, it's something you can look at to make your own, because when you understand that you're a sovereign, you can create your own crest, you can create your own seal, you can, your own house thing, whatever. You can come up, just like notaries, you can get a wax seal, you can get a stamp, you can get an embosser, you can do all these things. And then a status document is you get to pick your status, which is cool about being a sovereign. You can pick whatever status you want. You could, you could be Queen of the Bees. You could be Muslim Muhammad. You could be, you can tie in spiritual stuff. What was cool when I started learning my walk is I already had a spiritual foundation, and then when I started doing my status and standing, everything started tying together. And but to get status, that's basically the political. Not necessarily ties, but what you want your status to be, you choose that. You can put it down on paper if you want, and then to get standing, you basically want to mail that out to all the big players on Earth and get proof of service and acquiescence, and then you have standing. And then you can go a step further, which is something I did, which is basically establish treaties with all the major sovereign entities on Earth, and then basically let them know that you're coming from peace and love, because typically what happens when people start coming to the knowledge and the life and the light of the stuff that I'm teaching is they go through different stages. They get angry, they get upset. Some people want to be mad at the government, when really on a high level it's very balanced and harmonious on a high level. Of course, in the weeds there's always issues and whatnot, but You can use the courts to enforce your will. You can use the courts and police officers who work for we the people to do your bidding, basically. So it's up to you, basically, how you want to do your business. It's all you. Venue. Shane Mining, have you ever used a certificated security at a bank through a bank for any purchase? I have not that I know of. Certificated security. Now, I just typically use Federal Reserve notes, or there are other methods, including putting things in trust and appointing people, and that's enforceable. I've done private administrative procedures that are pretty incredible. That's part of being a sovereign. You can basically enforce your will by getting someone in a private administrative procedure, and then it comes down to enforcing, which you can use the IRS for. Jason Burnett, can you gift your vehicle into a revocable? Yes, you can. Now, it depends on where the vehicle is coming from and if it was registered. Okay, if the vehicle was registered, it's under control by the state, and it must be bound by the federal and local government's codes, policies, and statutes. Which, guess what? There's billions of them. Okay, which gets kind of cumbersome. Or you can have true controlling title of it, and then you can do whatever you want with it. And if you put it in a trust or you gift it or whatever, you can do whatever you want. If it's in the U.S. citizen's name, same rules apply again. That is a British underwriting, British, what do you want to call it? It's an individual trust, but it is a British underwriter because the U.S. was sanctioned by the Crown, and each state was sanctioned by the U.S. When you're dealing in the corporate states, the corporate U.S., the corporate stuff like that. So, yeah, you can put anything in a trust, but again, if it has underlying liens or attachments, then there's going to be issues. Weston, you are very welcome. DK Rose, website name. My website name is Anointed New Foundation of Peace.life, and it is attached to my profile page of TikTok. If you go on there, you'll see a little link, and all my stuff is free. It has auxiliary information to help you on your paths. You can browse around. Now, a lot of people will just download the whole folders, and then they don't realize that I update them all the time. Well, I say all the time, once a week or so. I put, like I said, I have over 1,000 videos from TikTok downloaded that I need to, and I'm downloading more all the time that I need to put on my website. And I always create new folders and stuff as I go along. And then it's so hard sometimes because nature, spirit, and commerce is all tied together. It is separate, but it's also tied together. And then it's hard sometimes for me to place. Sometimes it's like I need to put copies of it in different places because it deals with nature and spirit and it's commercial. Because commerce is like anything and everything, movement, thoughts. Like nothing can move or do anything without commerce. So it's like it's everything. Where I need to have like a foundation path on my website is also, I guess. All right, where are we at? Harvey Wellbanger, the right of self-determination. Yes, we all have free will. We all have. Now, it's cool when you get into the deeper and the higher esoteric levels. We have the ability to heal ourselves very quickly. We also have the ability to change our reality through the contracts that we keep and our thoughts and our emotions that emanate in and out. Because we're basically spiritual antennas that are able to tune in to certain things and put out certain things. And it's you're able to shape your reality. Now, I have not tried this. There is a test that's called the Blue Feather Test. And basically what it is you picture in your mind, and I've heard of people doing this, I've just never done it. You picture in your mind a blue feather. You picture how it feels, how it weighs, how it looks, and you do it all the time, and you just keep doing it in your mind. And eventually one's supposed to just pop up in your reality, because you basically put enough energy out there in the ether that it comes back and just basically emanates. And it's almost like, what was that movie where they could shape their reality? It had Leonardo DiCaprio and like the whole world. It was like a dream within a dream within a dream or something. Inception. All right, I got it. All right, so where are we at? There's a lot of people, but all right, no question. All right, Jason Burnett. So if it's paid off, it's better to just trade for a brand new and never. Yes. What I would suggest, and I could have done this one time because I had $25,000 cash, but I was like, well, plus baby mama didn't, most women don't want to go against the mainstream narrative and try to be, self-governing and all that stuff. And I'm saying most women because typically they like to take the lead from the male, but not saying that either role is less important because women are very powerful and amazing. But Most women don't want to like jump in front of a judge, beat their chest, and throw down their flag and say this is my court. You know what I'm saying? They're more powerful in a different way. They're actually more spiritually in tune, which is more power, believe it or not. But anyway, what you can do is you can sell a car, right? Get the cash. Then you can also get an unsecured loan. So yes, it has a slightly higher interest rate, but you can get an unsecured loan with the cash that you paid sold the car for, and then use that to go get a brand new car, and then you can get the MCO or MSO from that car, and then you'd have a bank loan, right? But the bank did not put a lien and get true title of the vehicle. So yeah, you basically have to pay a little more in interest, but then you get to true controlling title of the vehicle, and then you don't have to pay taxes on it, and you get to self-govern, and you get to do what you want. You don't have to abide by 80 billion codes, laws, and statutes. Now, what I did in my peace treaties that I sent out on the earth is I basically told them that I am respecting all of the laws that are in place, basically to keep all the people in lock. I'm not bound by them, but I respect them. And that's basically what I put out, letting everybody know. And I can only imagine what kind of watch lists I'm on. When you start mailing stuff out to everybody on earth, including back then it was the Queen of England, when I did mine. Thanks for joining. Join. All right, guys. This live video will be on YouTube. The audio will be in my Telegram group. I have exclusive content on all my social medias. My social medias are linked on my website. My website is linked on my profile page of TikTok. I have the website has auxiliary information that you can browse around on. Everything's free. My consultations are free. You can DM me. You can email me. You can call me. You can write me. You can call me late for dinner. Whatever you want. But I'm here to try to give lawful guidance in any and all way I can. I've created a bunch of playlists on my TikTok profile to help re-educate everybody on a case-by-case. Although, I do have people that want me to make classes, and it's so hard to try to think of any one blanketed way that will just cover basics. There are foundational basics. It's like anything. Like even the dance classes that I'm going to, there are foundational things that is blanketed across the board, and that's kind of a lot of the stuff that I've laid out. But when it comes to anything else other than foundations, trying to grow on each nature, spirit, and commerce, is everybody's kind of on their own path. And even though we're all to the same goal at the end of the day, but we're all different parts of the same body, and it's just like, can the finger get mad that it's not an eyeball? Can the eyeball get mad that it's not a heart? It's like, no, we're all part of this in the same spiritual union body. And that's basically how I've set up my corporation soul, is as a spiritual union body, which I'm helping everybody out with and through. Anyway, feel free to ask any questions. Oh, I got some more questions. You keep talking about using cash. Does this not increase national debt? It does. And one of my goals for trying to go on this path was to reduce public debt. And if you're engaged in commerce in the public, you are considered dealing in enemy activities. But if you go through the DTC, this is one thing I learned. This is one of the reasons why I didn't do it. When you go through the DTC and you convert everything and it's all said and done, and you go through a closed account through back office banking, and the trustee will convert all of the private assets into public debt that you use, because that's what the public uses. So if you're going to do or buy or sell anything, it'd be like, if you're not using public debt, you're going to end up, will you take this 50 sticks of bubble gum for a new shoelace, or hey, will you take half a sheep head for, a sandwich? It'd be trying to barter, because if you're not using public, currency, the public, which they're all federally bound by and basically have to do general accounting practices and reporting to the IRS, then you can't buy or do anything out there. So either you have to use an agent, or you have to have it converted. But again, it ends up bringing it all back into the public. And it's kind of like, that was one of the reasons why I just kind of took the route of the corporation sole, which is the only entity I know of that can deal in Federal Reserve notes and not give up jurisdiction as long as it's not engaged for profit. And no limit on funds transfers and all kinds of things. It's a pretty cool entity, and it doesn't give up jurisdiction if you register it. So it's a very, very powerful, it's as powerful as a municipal government, actually. So I basically created a municipal government for my process. But it also tied together nature, spirit, and commerce because it's a spiritual union body that has a corporation soul as the shield buffer between it and the public, and it is able to do commerce because you have to have an entity to do commerce with, or you have to have an agent that has an entity to do commerce with. The true private people, the big ballers, the elite at the top, they use agents that have agents that have agents. That's how they engage in commerce out there. So they're like so far in the private, like it's hard. I just got a new join to my Telegram group, Norm Kamka. Thanks for joining. I did have to delete Telegram from my phone because it was taking up 10 gigabytes of information. Harvey Wallbanger, thank you so much for doing this. You're very welcome. Like, I actually enjoy this, believe it or not. Like, I wasn't going to come on tonight because I got out of bachata dance class at daggone 8:30 at night. And I usually try to go to bed around 11, but I'm like, I got enough time. By the time I got home, I just smashed a quick sandwich and hopped on here. And I've never come on this late and wanted to see what the traffic's like. And it seems to be like much better coming on this late. I've never come on this late. And it seems to be a lot more people because, everybody's got to get off work and handle stuff. And I don't know what y'all's time zones are, but I'm in Eastern Standard Time. So, Shane Mining. Or do you have to have a way to zero out the ledger when using FRNs? So every corporation is balanced at zero for general accounting practices anyway. So every corporation is worthless. Plus it's using Federal Reserve notes, which is backed by a promise to pay one day, which is also kind of worthless, although it is someone else's property. And they get to claim, just like the stock market shows, what that value is. Because when you control something that you create, or when you create something, you get to control it. So whoever created the Federal Reserve notes gets to dictate and control it however they want, and it's their property, and they get to say what its value is. It's just a game board, and if you're going to mess with that, you got to understand the rules and strings attached to that relationship. It's up to you. All right, let's see. Did I miss any more questions? Thanks for the following. Dang, I got 7 new followers. Much appreciated for everybody. Thanks for all the gifts too. Your gifts will be used to help others. Rocco Van Zetti. What's the T channel name link? What T channel? I don't know what a T channel is. Oh, Telegram. Telegram, yeah, it's I don't know the name of it. It's a Nature, Spirit, and Commerce chat group, and it's linked on my website on my profile page at TikTok. You just gotta scroll down a little bit, and you should see all the social media links. I need to update it because it's still got the old Twitter logo on it and stuff like that. It doesn't have the X, I don't think. Slimmest Grimace 17. When an agency exchanged an application with Treasury, how do you get what is owed but wasn't? That sounds like a riddle that would be in a movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, and my first instinct was like, how do I even answer that? And it sounds like a riddle. When an agency exchanges an application with Treasury, how do you get what is owed but wasn't? Like, you mean what wasn't given? I don't know how to answer that, dude, or girl, Slimmest and Grimace. Bonnie, do you do redemption process? I was on my own redemption process, and here's what happened after 5.5, maybe even 6 years of study. I found out that I was free the whole time. I went through the process. I've gone through all kinds of wrong paths. That's why I'm on here. That's why I started this journey. Is because Bree was trying to send people out to just travel without a license and not understanding the rules of the games that you're engaging in. So, the redemption process is really cool and simple. It's because you are already free, sovereign, independent, and an amazing fractal of the Creator on all levels. Benjamin, thanks for joining the Telegram group. And once you understand more and more and more, you're able to shape your reality through the contracts that you keep and the spiritual and emanations that come from your mind and thoughts and consciousness. You're able to basically put out everything. Karma was established for a reason. It's not an accident. It's not an evolutionary thing. What goes around comes around is out there for a reason, and we're being tested for a reason. You have a decision to make every second of the day. And what is also cool when you come to a higher level is you understand that you are the past, present, and future all in one. Everything that you've experienced from the past, you bring forward with you to this second right here now in the present where you're living, and every single second you're also thinking about the next thing. So every second you are past, present, and future all in one, the beginning, middle, and end. It is you. It is all you and always has been. We have been indoctrinated and taught that we are accidental accidental monkeys flying on a ball that just so happened to exist. But the truth is that is put in place by the controllers of the natural realm, who have been given authority to keep us down, to try to keep you away from reaching the truth and the light, which is you are actually a fractal of the creators that have made this game up, and you are basically a programmer able to dictate your own reality. And you can help so many people. And I always take the airplane approach. When your airplane is crashing, you got to first put your mask on first before you help others. Not saying that you can't help people when you're broke, homeless, and one-legged and stuff like that, but when you're in your best, basically centered self and coming from the most highest vibration, you're able to reach and help many more people coming from authenticity. And believe it or not, they've done studies that when somebody is being authentic, that is the most powerful, persuasive type of energy that deceives people. And what happens a lot of times on this path and this walk, because this knowledge is not like I have on my website. If we had this stuff that I have on my website in school, it would be different. But since we're all trying to figure everything out on all these games, that the controllers don't show all the rules, or they put misinformation out with a little bit of truth, this stuff spreads like wildfire. Especially, I always take like foundations of my own. I know there's equitable foundations, but I make my own. And one of them is, if it's really easy, it's usually not right. Okay? And that's what everybody tries to sell everybody out there. It's pay me and I will show you the easy button. Well, guess what? There's a red flag right there. Because if it's easy, it ain't what you think it is. Now, I'll tell you what is easy is following the rest of the sheeple downstream and being basically governed by somebody else, because the maxim is either govern yourself or it will be done for you, okay? And if you don't want to be self-governing, because, hey, I've talked to a lot of people and nobody really want responsibility, okay, unless there's a fire under their foot. Where are we at? Slimmest Grimace. Wasn't disclosed. Application for services they exchanged for their enrichment, but owed an application. So how did somebody get rich? Were you using somebody else's money to classify what riches are? Are you talking about Caesar's money? Are you talking about Federal Reserve notes, which are owned and controlled by somebody else? Are you using somebody else's banking system? Did you make the treasury? Are you engaged in somebody else's game and somebody else's playboard, and you're trying to say that you were done wrong? Because that's what it sounds like. Because you didn't create the treasury, it's not your Federal Reserve notes, and if you're going to start messing around with somebody else's games, you have to understand the rules of those games. And I know we're not taught them, and it's for a reason, because that's not how you teach people that you want to keep in lock. And it's just an unfortunate truth. But if you're going to be messing with somebody else's property, then you have to abide by the rules that they set forth. If you want to register your car to the state, then you have to abide by the rules that the state sets forth. Or if you don't pay taxes, they'll take your car from you. Or if you don't have your seatbelt, which you applied to the application when you submit to the application, and you got a license for the U.S. citizen, you have to abide by all these codes, laws, and statutes, like wear your seatbelt, do the speed limit, all that stuff. Now, I have respect for the speed limit, but even police officers will tell you there's an unspoken rule where if you try to do the speed limit and everybody around you is speeding, you are actually causing an issue, because you are causing a hindrance on the road. Now, if everybody's doing 70 and it's posted 25 and you're doing 25, you are actually you're causing an issue, because you're causing everybody to have to swerve around you and try to get out of your way when you really need to go with traffic, okay? That's the only time I would suggest going with the flow. But anyway, sorry. When stuff wasn't disclosed, not to pick you out or try to like come off as brass, but when you're using a bank, right? You're using a bank as an agent. If you're not taking control and know the knowledge and all the ins and outs of everything, then their rules say they get to define you as a debtor, even though you were the ones that created the authorized representative for the U.S. citizen. Your signature created the asset that they put on their books that they're allowed to fractionalize because Congress authorized them to do. What is your U.S. citizen authorized to do? Because I can tell you right now, you the human, you are authorized from the Creator to do any and everything. You're supposed to take dominion of nature, spirit, and commerce and basically be a god on this earth and rule and control everything. But we're being taught and fed so many different disinformation and lies that we're basically worthless monkeys that accidentally happened to be spinning on a ball that crawled from soup. That's what they want you to believe. The soup that you crawled out of was from your mom. That was the Big Bang. And I love that guy who broke that stuff down. He's like, you want to know the Big Bang? It was when your parents got it on. And that spark was when that cell went inside of that egg. And then the real evolution was when that sperm turned it into a little fish, into a monkey, and then crawled out of the primordial soup. Like, there's your evolution right there. So it's based on somewhat a reality, okay? And I was talking about this with my sister today at the funeral. You know, it's kind of interesting that all animals can swim from birth. Like monkeys, frogs, it don't matter if it's a fish, snakes, all that stuff. From the moment they're born, they're able to swim. But then something happens after a couple of minutes where they suddenly, it's like they lose it. It's like they just suddenly can't swim anymore, you know? And it's just kind of a weird thing that we all go through. But anyway, let's see, how many questions do I have? This, I know you are very spiritual. Thank you, Bonnie. I'm somewhat spiritual. I wish I was a little more spiritual, but I'm where I'm at for a reason. I've touched a lot of all the 7 days. I haven't made it to the 8th day, but I'm playing the game with y'all. AJ Dreams, you do a great job explaining this. Thank you. I try to, for educational purposes. Bonnie, I'm finding it's not easy. Yeah, it's not easy, and it's not fun. And what happens, because we're basically electrical bags of water, both electricity and water want to take the path of least resistance. That's why it's hard to work out. But if you work out, you basically, it breaks it all down for you right there. You're breaking down the natural temple, and then the Creator will give you an increase as long as you're feeding it properly and watering it properly. Same thing, we can heal ourselves if you are basically immersed in an environment of love and you're receiving the right amount of nutrition and sunlight and stuff like that and earthing and stuff. You can heal really quick, especially if you use your mental capacity. You actually, through your mind, you can heal your body as well. But you know, all these things matter. When you work out, you're breaking down the natural body, and the Creator will actually, you will have increase, you know. And the same thing happens on a spiritual level. The same thing happens on a commercial level. It's all kind of tied and reflected out, in and out through you as the ultimate authority. Jason Burnett, my certificate of live birth with Social Security number and CDL, so that's etc., is mine to manage as a fiduciary trustee. Is this right? So the creator of the certificate of live birth is the state. The U.S. citizen is a individual trust that was created by the state, and whoever creates gets control. The Social Security number is the Social Security Administration's number. Now the trick is that's the public side. On the private is the bond number, the CUSIP number that's on the back. Okay, and the CDL, the commercial driver's license. All those things, that is in the U.S. citizen's name, which is controlled by the state. So all of those belong to other people, and they're not yours. And even if a police officer asks you, is this your picture, like he's holding up your license, and then you can say, if it's mine, why don't I have it? You know? If it's like, isn't this your picture? It's not mine. Like, if it was mine, does it have my name on it? No, that's not my name. That's a corporation. Does it have? Look, it has Utah or Colorado on the top. That's theirs. That's them. That ain't me. That ain't even my picture. If it was my picture, I'd have it. I didn't take that picture. It's somebody else's. Anyway, it's just little tricks and tips. Black Swine, you keep cutting out, bro. Oh no, I wonder what's gonna happen on this live. You know what's funny is when I first hopped on, it was telling me my video was so corrupted that it was obstructed, and I might want to move somewhere or something. And I'm like, I look fine on here. I'm assuming I look fine to y'all. But when I listen to this audio later, I guess I'll find out how bad I'm cutting out. All right, I got 30. Bonnie, oh yes, I agree with you for sure. Oh dang, I've already been on here for an hour, man. Time's just been flying. I've been having too much fun. Jason Burnett. And the BC will be created when I return the COLB. And no, that's old technology, Jason. Listen to the playlist that I created on my profile page in Order Foundation, Nature, Spirit, and Commerce, and it'll help you out on a lot of those misinformation things. AJ Dreams, so do you have several trusts? How do you suggest someone to set it up? Yes, I have tons of trusts. And everything's in trust. Relationships are in trust. Money is in trust. Sex is in trust. You know, everything is in trust. When you sit down in a chair, it's in trust. all things are in trust, but what happens is the public can't handle that kind of stuff, so they're given the duality of plus minus, rain, snow, hate, love, Republican, Democrat, winner, loser, rich, poor. Nobody can really handle the trifecta, coming together with the triangle. Guys, I've been on here for an hour. I appreciate everybody that's just coming on. I'm sorry. Getting ready to hop off. This is the latest I've come on, but I might try to do it late again, maybe next Friday, because this just seems to be a lot more traffic and a lot better fluid and flow. And so anyway, the video of this recording will be on YouTube. My audio will be in my Telegram group. Feel free to reach out and DM me. You can email me. You can call me. You can write me. I have all different ways to reach out. All my consultation is free. My website's free. It has auxiliary information, which is the New Foundation of Peace.life. It's linked on my profile page of TikTok, and so are all my social medias. And I have playlists to help re-educate everybody. Reasonable doubt. I struggle with some of your responses. We both have fought in court pro se. I need a comrade. Have? Yeah, you can reach out to me. I don't mind giving some lawful guidance. But again, at the end of the day, it is you doing the battle. That's why I don't like giving and doing all the paperwork and everything, because, like I said, I can enforce a bar napkin in court, but can you? And that's the whole kit and caboodle. It doesn't matter what you do. You can have the perfect, airtight, completed process done, filed, recorded in front of the judge. And if you say the wrong thing, he's just going to wipe his rear end with it. It's just completely, absolutely irrelevant. And at the end of the day, it needs to be you and coming from you. Leonard Hillard, I want my money and I need it now. That's funny. Lola Hammer, is that Lola Hammer? Lavelle, do trusts work the same in Canada? Yes, I think trust is international because it's in the UCC, which has been in the public corporates, basically merged into all the main corporations all over the earth. Thanks for all the likes, follows, shares, everybody. I hope y'all have a great weekend. Thanks for joining on here, becoming enlightened and having fun with me. Normally I have a cup of coffee. I would be a little more hype, but I appreciate everybody on here. And feel free to reach out to me if you have questions that I couldn't answer, or please watch my playlist. A lot of questions will get asked if you watch my playlist. Yes, it's long. It takes hours, but feel free to do it. Anyway, enjoy your Friday, everybody. Thank you for coming on. Love you. Y'all have a great weekend.